Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. We're talking about insurance now, and that's one of the industries under the financial services sector. And that particular sector saw quite a lot of activity in 2016. But despite that activity, there was low penetration rate of about 0.4%, and the gross premium income was estimated, or is estimated to grow by 8% this year, and that's according to a report by Augusto and Co. Now, the projection is hinged on a probable devaluation of the naira, anticipated increase in infrastructure, and the continued growth in life business. Well, joining me to talk more about the state of Nigeria's industry is Ada Ufomadu, who is the bank and insurance ratings analyst at Augusto and Co. Good morning to you, Ada. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
So it's a very good way to start a Monday morning, especially as we know that there's a lot of market activity lined up, and everybody's thinking of how best, what kind of insurance products they should be looking at to protect themselves or their family or their businesses, as the case may be. But taking a look at Augusto's report for 20 and Co. That is, looking at that report, talk to us a little bit about how 2016 was like for the insurance industry.
Okay, so the Nigerian insurance industry, like most industries in Nigeria, was adversely impacted by the weak macroeconomic climate we saw in 2015 and 2016. I mean, we saw oil prices dip from an average of about $100 per barrel to lower than about $40 per barrel in 2016. And that had implications on the government's revenue. We know that a significant amount of government revenue is generated from crude oil sales, especially the FX revenue. So generally there was a scarcity of FX, and when you think about business lines in insurance such as oil and gas, whose premiums are generated in dollars, that had an impact. And by the way, oil and gas accounts for about 17% of the industry's premiums generated. So we saw a decline in revenues, you know, from the oil and gas sector and other sectors whose premiums are dollar denominated. In addition to that, when we think about the impact of the naira devaluation, so between 2015 and 2016, the naira depreciated by 87% to about 315, what we see in the interbank market, and on the streets is going for higher than 500 naira.
It's about 510 now.
Yes, exactly, per dollar. So what that has done to assets that are insured, take for instance, you got a Toyota Corolla 2014, 8 million, and you insured it for 8 million, right? So that means that if that car got stolen or it was missed, or I don't know, whatever happened, exactly, you would get 8 million or a little lower than 8 million to replace the car. But since the naira has depreciated, the value of such assets have gone up. Right, so an 8 million Corolla is going for maybe 15 million right now. So you see that insurance companies have had to call up their clients to say, look, your vehicle that is worth this higher amount, now you only insured it for 8 million. And so we've seen clients respond in two ways. Some clients have topped up their insurance premiums, but some have just stayed back and said, look, I can't handle this increase. Let me just hold back or stay back with the third-party insurance, which is much cheaper and which is the compulsory insurance.
That actually leads me to my next question. Who are the largest buyers of insurance for the period reviewed by Augusto and Co?
Yes, motor insurance is the largest business
third party.
Yes, well, if you say so, well, third party, but motor insurance still accounts for about 18% of premiums generated by the industry. Another impact we've seen is the inflation, rising inflation. What inflation does basically is that it reduces the value of long-term savings. Right, so 100 naira today at 12% inflation.
No, 18.72.
Let's take for instance 12%, right? And in 5 years, 100 naira is worth just about 50 naira. And if you go as long as 15 years, it's only worth like 20 naira. So when people think about the opportunity cost, why put away some money that is reducing in value? Why don't I put it in an investment security or something? That has had an impact in premiums generated by the industry.
Was that also the reason why we still had very low penetration, below 1% or 1% thereabout in the insurance industry?
Yes, so Nigerians insurance industry penetration rate is at about 0.4%. And the low penetration rate, especially when you compare it to other African countries like Kenya. Kenya is doing as high as 3%. South Africa is doing double digits, about 12.5, 13. We'll see that there's still there's a clear lag. And we can attribute this mainly to the apathy is mainly due to the African culture, if you say so. If you want to use that term, we tend to rely on relatives, rely on friends, you know, in tough times. And so the benefits of putting away some money for an event that we pray never happens, you know, you need to educate people on why should I really do that? You know, so the apathy is still there. And that's why recently, at the end of January 2016, we concluded a survey about the retail consumer market. Oh. In that survey, we tried to understand the reason why our penetration rate is low at 0.4. Why do people subscribe to insurance products? Why would they not subscribe to insurance products? How do they want
who is actually subscribing to these products as well?
Exactly. Why? How would they want to be served insurance products? What are their satisfaction levels for people that are already in the insurance umbrella? And we found out a lot of interesting things. We put together a report, a very detailed and comprehensive report, which we believe will be very useful for operators in the market so that they understand the Nigerian market, and when they structure their products, they are more deliberate and more productive, you know, efficient in.
Okay, so Ada, do you want to give us a sneak peek into this, what this survey was all about? Because the retail market is a very integral market for the insurance industry, yes, and not a lot of operators know this, but it always seems as if they're not able to come up with the right products to satisfy this very large market that is largely untapped.
Yeah, so there are lots of things we found out in the survey, but a particular one I would like to talk about is the untapped female retail market.